Hello there, this is 𝐔𝐏𝐃𝐀𝐓𝐄 and this is Art of Rooms. And alright, let's continue talking about Asphalt 8. And I say talking because today we're going to have a look at the patch notes for the upcoming version of the game that should be due next week, I believe. We don't have the specific date, but I think it's safe to assume that it'll be next week. But I'm really interested on this particular update because there's a big change coming into the game that could be really interesting, but also quite dangerous. But before I get into it, if you enjoy my content, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. As I always say, this helps the channel to continue to grow, it keeps me going, and it allows me to continue making this content for you. So if you want to continue seeing Asphalt 8 right here in the channel, let me know by hitting that like button and subscribing. And remember that once we hit the 25,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a 12-hour live stream of roomy games, Asphalt 8 included. So why don't you subscribe and help me get to that milestone. But alright, as I just mentioned, we're going to have a look at the entirety of the patch notes, and I'm going to be reading and giving my thoughts, though in one particular topic I will come back a little bit later within this video just to talk a bit more about it. But alright, let's get into it. And it reads, Update 77 Patch Notes. The holiday season is here, and so is Update 77. As we race toward the end of 2025, Asphalt 8 is celebrating with festive content, fresh events, and powerful new machines ready to light up the winter tracks. We've made this update extra special with gifts, returning favorites, and end-of-the-year surprises. Let's unwrap what's coming your way. And the first thing is going to be the Boss Battle version 3. The bosses are back, and this time they're more dangerous than ever. This winter-themed version adds a fun new twist as racers stop the bosses using snowballs, turning the battlefield into an energetic holiday showdown. Boss Battle V3 also brings a reward lineup inspired by community feedback, giving players more reasons to jump in, fight hard, and claim seasonal prizes. So this already sounds like it's going to be different than the previous ones, because specifically it seems that you're going to be using snowballs. Honestly, I think that's just going to be like the Comet power-up, but, you know, themed around a snowball, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. What interests me is the fact that they say that they're actually taking into account the community feedback, more reasons to jump in and fight hard. Because this is something that I've said before, that in some of these events, sometimes there's just not enough reason to get into them. Because it's like, man, the reward is going to be so difficult to get, so why should I bother? So maybe they have done something, they rebalanced it in some way to make players more interested in playing and get rewards, even if maybe not the main one, but get more rewards in the process of actually grinding the event. But hey, we'll see how that goes. But the important thing, oh no, that's not yet, the Carnival Event. With the new year approaching, the Carnival Festival arrives on the track to celebrate in style. Players can collect mask badges and exchange them for exciting rewards, all while enjoying a festive atmosphere filled with music, color, and high-energy racing. It's the perfect way to welcome the new year with joy and competition. I think it's pretty clear that this is just gonna be another one of these events like the turkey, what was it called? The 𝐔𝐏𝐃𝐀𝐓𝐄, and you know, all of these events where you collect something in the track and then you collect a bunch of them and then you can exchange them for rewards and whatnot. To be fair, the turkey event, I thought that was interesting. It was an interesting, what would I say, rework of what the Chrome Marauder normally is. So I thought it was interesting. I personally, like I said, wasn't particularly into it because I already had the car, but I understand that for a lot of players, it was actually a decent opportunity to maybe unlock the Lamborghini Diablo as it was in that event, or whatever was the car afterward. I think it was the SSA Ultimate. But regardless, we'll see how this one goes. Hopefully they will continue to improve them and make them a bit more interesting for players. Like I said, I think they already took a good step with the 𝐔𝐿𝐃𝐀𝐓𝐄, but we'll see. Now this is the interesting one, Sportline. Introducing Sportline, a new progression feature created to give our top races more depth, customization, and value. Fully upgraded S-Class cars can be enhanced into Sportline versions using special sport kits and materials. This system refreshes classic vehicles, boosts performance, and rewards players for investing in their collection. The first car in the Sportline garage are the Pagani Huayra BC and the Bugatti Bolide, with more to come in the future. Now this is the one that I said it's very, very interesting, but it can be also a little bit dangerous. Basically, it seems that this is a reworked version of something that was introduced in Asphalt Legends that is known as the Evo system, or at least that's what it kind of makes me think that this is. As a quick overview, and like I said, I'm going to come back to this topic a little bit later within this video, it's just a system to upgrade cars beyond their maximum normal rank. Now, how interesting is it going to be? It really depends how it was developed here in Asphalt 8. because in Asphalt Legends it provides a crazy variety of options, even if not all of them, and actually the vast majority of them, are not particularly competitive. But we'll go back to this stuff. For now, let's move on and let's have a look at what are going to be the new vehicles this time around. The first one being the Porsche 718 Spider RS, which is going to be a Class A car. And, well, you know, if you know the 718 Cayman, you can think a little bit like that, but this is a Spider version, so with the, in theory, removable roof, but obviously just, you know, just going to probably look like this. It's all right. It's a Porsche. I think it's clear that Porsche has been doing a lot of pushes to promote their cars. There's a lot of Porsche stuff in a bunch of games, but whatever. So this is going to be a new car in the game. It is interesting that it's Class A, and in a way, I applaud Gameloft. Not because I care much about this car, but because it seems that they're finally moving away from just exclusively focusing on Class A's. That is something that I can appreciate, because at the end of the day, the game has so many cars that just focusing on Class A's, it's a bit of a disservice to all of the other classes in the game. But at least, hey, new Class A car, we'll see how much how much people are going to be interested on this thing. The other car is going to be the Automobile Pininfarina B95, which is Class S. And by the way, all of these images that I'm showing you is not official material for Asphalt 8. This one I just got from Google. These ones are from Asphalt Legends, just FYI. But anyway, so yeah, Pininfarina B95 Class S car, which is basically the Pininfarina with a little bit of styling differences, and obviously being headless, meaning no windshield and no roof. You know, it's this type of cars like the Lamborghini SC20 or the Aventador J or the Ferrari, what is it called? The Monza, you know, all of these cars, right? I don't particularly like this type of cars, but whatever. That is going to be the new car over here. And well, if you like Pininfarina, well, probably this is going to be a good car. Who knows? We'll see as usual. We don't have any information as to the actual ranks of performance. So yeah, there's that. Then we got information about the new avatar, Captain Boost, male and female version, meaning it's gonna be available for both of them. A new avatar outfit introduced for update 77. That's that. Yeah, sorry, there's no images, there's no promotional material, there's nothing about that, so I cannot show it to you, so we just know the name and we know that it's coming. Great. All right, moving on to the racing passes. Unlock premium rewards throughout. Okay, you know how this works. So the first one is gonna be for the Ferrari FX6K, and that is kind of cool, considering that the FX6K is a considerably strong car in Class S of the rank of 1861, so that's nice. The next one is going to be for the Lamborghini Centenario, also a very good car, a pretty decent / good car of Class S. It used to be a king at some point. Nowadays it's not anymore, but it still remains to be pretty good. So there is that. And the last one is going to be for the Torino Design Super Sport, a car that I think it's pretty mid in general, though it's relatively rare. Maybe you don't see it often in multiplayer, though that should probably just tell you that it's not an amazing car in terms of performance, but okay, whatever. Then we move to the new car hunts, and they are going to be interesting, and I say that very emphatically. First, we have the 2015 GTA Spano, which is a Class A car. It's a very bad car, period, so I would say no way, go for it. Then we got the Koenigsegg 𝐔𝐏𝐃𝐀𝐓𝐄, which is a pretty decent car in Class S, except that this car, it's always available for tokens. You can actually get this car right now for tokens, you know, in the garage. So paying about 20 bucks for it, I mean, only if you want. Then we got the McLaren X2, which is not a particularly good car. I suppose it's sort of rare, but yeah, it's a very unreliable car, very skitty, so I don't know. Then we got the Renault Sport RS01, which is a very, very mid-class S car. Nothing particularly good about that car. And much like the 𝐔𝐏𝐃𝐀𝐓𝐄, it's a common car that you can get in the garage store already. So for tokens. So I mean, again, pay money for that. Then we got the Aston Martin Valkyrie, another very, very mid car. I mean, to be fair, I think that car was overly hated over time. People said that, oh, it's the worst car out there. No, it's not. It's okay, you know. It is quite agile, but the nitro, it's a little bit oof. Well, you know, it's all right. Then we got the Touareg TS900 Racer Pro, which it's a pretty good car. I've said it before. It's, I would say, probably one of the best 1860 cars. So specifically the rank of 1860. I'm not talking about 1861, 62, or 59, 58. No, specifically 1860. I think that's one of the best ones. So there's that. Though I think currently, as I'm recording this video and as all of this is happening, this car you can right now purchase for tokens because it's available in one of those weekly sales. So if you want it, you're thinking, oh, should I go for it in the car hunt? Well, you could just buy it right now, but still. Then we got the Weber Faster 1, which is a Class A car. I don't know much about that car, but, well, Class A. And finally, the HTT Plethora, which is once again a Class S car. I think it's... People say that it's good. I'm not 100% sure. I think at the very least it's quite decent. But once again, similar to the Trevita and the Renault Sport and so on, this is a car that you can buy permanently in the garage. It's a car that's always available for tokens. So I don't know why they put on sale cars that are very easy to get normally, these three. Cars that are bad, straight up bad, like the GTA Spano, and a bunch of other cars that are very, very mid. In general, you know, considering that these are things that they're going to be selling for money, I would imagine that they would have wanted to put cars that are more interesting. People would be more interested in buying. Paying $20 for a car that I can already buy for tokens, I mean. Now, there's one thing to consider, and this is not official, this is not confirmed, but this is my theory, and I mean, could be wrong. But the fact that they're making these cars available now through a car hunt, does that mean that maybe they're gonna switch it up and you will not be able to buy this anymore for tokens from here onwards for a while? I have no idea. It might just not be the case, and you can just buy them for tokens or in the hunt, whatever. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, just thought of mentioning that, so yeah. By the way, one quick thing that I want to mention about car hunts is that actually I wonder what they're gonna do, because in the last patch notes they announced a bunch of car hunts, and actually we are in the third to last car hunt that they announced currently. Right now there's a car hunt happening in the game for the Pagani Utopia, but after that there was supposed to be a hunt for the Valhalla and then one for the Tomato P72. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know exactly when this patch is dropping. Is it gonna drop in 2 weeks? I highly doubt it. I think it's gonna be next week. So I don't think there will be time for the Valhalla and the Tomato hunt as they were announced originally, or maybe they're gonna shove them in before all of these ones starts. I have no idea, but my guess is that they're not gonna happen. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting to mention that, because I don't know, it's a weird situation. Anyway, moving on, we have what's gonna be the treasure rushes in this season. The first one is gonna be for the Porsche 718 Spider RS. Again, a treasure rush for a Class A, that's where it gets a little bit, you know, because you know that those treasure rushes can be super expensive if you just want to pay money for it. So paying the same for this and for the Hennessy Venom GT, which is, wait, no, Hennessy Venom GT. Oh, never mind. I thought it was the Hennessy Venom F5. Oof. Okay, never mind. No, all right, never mind. I was gonna say paying the same for this card I'm paying for the Venom F5, but no, it's the wrong Venom, so never mind. This is the bad Venom. Either way, the last one is gonna be for the Pininfarina Automobile Pininfarina B95. So as usual, new cars, treasure rushes, and maybe someday they will come in another way in the game. But for now, that's all there is. So like I said, all of this, it's sort of interesting, but obviously the main thing over here is gonna be the Sportline feature, which it remains to be seen how this is gonna work. In fact, I want to show you this same feature, well, not this same feature, because we don't know that it's the same, but the one that I was mentioning on how it is in Asphalt Legends. Now, it doesn't matter if you don't play Asphalt Legends. This is not about the gameplay. We're gonna talk about specifically stats over here. Asphalt Legends, similar to Asphalt, it has the main stats being the top speed, acceleration, handling, and nitro. Now, this car currently in this game, it's already at the maximum rank. Imagine that this is basically a car that is fully pro'd out. That's kind of the idea behind this. And on being pro'd out, well, the stats are at the maximum that they can be. But they introduced this system called the Evo system, which allows you to apply specific new parts to the car, which are gonna alter the performance of the car. So for example, over here, this is where the car currently is, and if I apply this, it's gonna increase a little bit my top speed, and it's gonna increase the handling by a bunch. There's different parts that alter the game, alter the stats differently. Also, it changes the weight, but I don't know if that's gonna be a thing, probably not. But anyway, you get the idea that upon equipping different things, it's gonna alter the performance of the car, and it also alters the maximum rank of the car. So that is kind of how this system works here in Asphalt Legends. And here in this game in Asphalt Legends, it is a very interesting thing, but at the same time, it is a very dangerous one, because it has made a couple of cars ridiculously broken, because you can configure them in such a way that they're just straight up insanely overpowered. So this is why I say that in Asphalt 8, it is a little bit of a question as to whether or not it's gonna be a good thing or a dangerous thing. So basically, I am just worried about the possibility that with the introduction of this system, they're gonna start making some cars too overpower. And they announced two cars that are gonna be having this system, right? One is the Pagani Huayra BC, which coincidentally is the car that I'm gonna be driving right now. Wow, what a coincidence! and the other one is going to be the Bugatti Bolide. Now, the range over here is massive because the Pagani Huayra BC, it's quite a mid car in Class S, whilst the Bugatti Bolide, it may not be a king, but it is an ultimate car with all of the peculiarities that an ultimate car entails. So it is kind of peculiar to me that they chose the Bolide. I understand more the Pagani Huayra BC. And that is something that I was going to mention regarding Asphalt Legends and the way that they did their Evo system, which again is what I think this Sportline system is going to be like, kind of. They are doing that specifically for cars that are not particularly good, that they're not particularly competitive. That's what they've been doing. And like I said, they have made some cars, like for example the Ferrari F90 Stradale. In that game, it had never been a car that was used much at all. And then suddenly it's a super spam car because it's ridiculously good after the Evo system. So that is my worry over here, that they're gonna, with this Sportline system in the game, that they're gonna make some cars, maybe this or maybe worse in the case of the Bugatti Bolide, into ridiculously overpowered cars. And then on top of that, let's not forget that we already have the whole VIP 15 system, and now we're also gonna have this other system as well that is gonna further... Ah, Jesus, if that guy hadn't pushed me, I would have beaten him. We already have the VIP system, and then on top of that, we're gonna have another system that may make some cars much more powerful than others. How is that gonna work? That is the part that concerns me a little bit. And would that even affect matchmaking at all? Granted, in Class S, I guess matchmaking doesn't make much sense or doesn't matter too much because it just picks any car starting from the rank of 1773 and higher, and it doesn't matter how high it goes. But it just makes me wonder, so what if I'm driving my, I don't know, let's say my Renault RSO 1, which is, like I said earlier, a very mid car, and then I'm gonna be matched a VIP 15 Sportline version of the Bugatti Bolide that now is gonna go 25 kilometers faster. I mean, I don't know how that's gonna work, all right? I don't know if it's indeed gonna make the car considerably faster or whatnot, but still, I think you see the concern over here. I think that has a very, very real chance of imbalancing the game further quite a bit. Now, again, we don't really know how this thing is gonna be implemented. Who knows if this Sportline system, instead of making cars faster, is gonna be like, oh no, it doesn't increase speed, but it does increase nitro duration. It increases handling a bunch. It, you know, things like that. It is not known how that's gonna work, but I don't know. It, like I said, it does have a lot of possibility of making this thing, the game, making the, especially the Class S races, way, way, way. Ah, what the f was that? My car just skid out of nowhere. Okay. Maybe that is a thing that they should change. Make it like, oh, cars no longer skid once you apply these tires or something. I'm telling you, the possibilities are a lot, but a lot of them seem very dangerous. Who knows, maybe the system will be a lot less dramatic, and instead of making your car 10 kilometers faster, it will make it 0.5 kilometers faster and increase your handling by 0.5% or something like that. I don't know. Again, I really don't know. But what I will say about this whole thing is, while I am, you know, a little bit skeptical just in the sense of, man, how is this going to affect the balance of the game? I will say that I am happy to see that the developers are adding something new to the game. Now, could this break the game? Possibly, though I would suppose that it will also end up being a thing that needs to be worked over time, and if something is broken, maybe eventually rebalance and things like that. So I hope that the developers are open indeed to the idea of eventually rebalancing if things do get a little bit too crazy. But like I said, I'm just happy to see that the developers are now doing something different for the game. You know that I've complained that for a long time, that the game has been in a repetitive state for a few years by now. And now seeing that they're actually going to do something that is going to alter the gameplay of the game, hopefully in a better way than just the VIP system, because that one was oof. I think that is quite considerably exciting, you know? And I am being skeptical, but at the same time, a little bit hopeful about this. Oh, sorry for the knockdown, buddy. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if eventually this Sportline system is going to be added for all of the cars in the game or just specific ones. Hey, 𝐔𝐏𝐃𝐀𝐓𝐄, if you ever listen to this, please consider, if you're going to be doing this indeed for several cars, but not all of them, focus on the bad cars. Get information from the community and from us creators and from every source possible to learn what are the bad cars in the game and add this system to them to make them a bit more competitive. Maybe not overpowered or anything, but to make them a bit more competitive so that they can be revitalized, as you, 𝐔𝐏𝐃𝐀𝐓𝐄 yourself said. So yeah, overall, coming back to talking to my regular audience, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I'm excited to test it out once it comes out. Whether or not it's gonna be a pay-to-win system, it probably will be a system that is monetized. So hopefully, it's also gonna be possible to do for people without spending money. Probably it's gonna require some grind or some time, or who knows. But hopefully it's gonna be a little bit of both sides, so that not only the pay-to-win people get to enjoy it, but also the free-to-play people, even if it's gonna take longer or something like that. For now, if you wanna get a hard-end opinion on this video, you need to leave me the key phrase, which is going to be new system in the game. Let's see if it's a game changer or it will just make things more imbalanced. First person to post it gets a heart, the pin. You know how this whole thing works. And once again, if you like my content, please subscribe, like, all of that stuff. Remember, the 25,000 subscribers in the 12-hour live stream is happening at some point, so help me get to the milestone. But all right, that's all. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.